we are going to read Tsunami. Now, the genre for today is an online article, and an online article is an article that is on the internet. We're going to read this article and learn more about tsunamis. So pay attention. We'll do a quick picture walk, and then we'll read through the story or the article. So if this were a real online article, we could click these buttons, but this is just like a screenshot that they put into our textbook to help us learn about online articles. But you can see it still has a title. Right here is the URL bar where you would type in your website address, right? Like www.roblox.com or whatever it is you go to. There's a search bar, there's a home key, a delete button, a refresh button, and then these are all tabs. And if they were really on the internet, you could click on them and they would give you information. So if I clicked on Tsunami Basics, it would take me to an article about the tsunami basics. If I clicked on photos, I would get to see photos of a tsunami. Highlighted words are vocabulary words. I'll make sure I stop at the bolded text and make sure we understand what those words mean as well. You can see right here we have an illustration, and the illustration has labels. Now, I want you to pay attention to something. Right here is the header, how a tsunami forms. So the information in this paragraph is going to tell us how tsunamis form. This picture right here has a title, A Tsunami Forms Underwater. It's going to give us information about how a tsunami forms. So pay attention when I'm reading this, and we're going to see if the picture matches the text. Another header, areas at risk. Over here we have areas at risk of tsunamis in the US, and we have a map, and you can see that part of the map is labeled, and it's also color-coded. So Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and California are all color-coded and labeled as areas at risk. Oh, and if you look carefully, there's Hawaii as well. Down here is a photograph of a tsunami damage in Alaska from 1964. And then on this page, if it was really on the internet, this would be like another page of the internet, tracking a tsunami with a header, tsunami warning centers. So this will be about tsunami warning centers. Here's a photograph, the tsunami warning center in Hawaii. So think about why Hawaii might have a warning center, a tsunami warning center. Then on this page, we have early warnings as our header. But then we also have how a buoy system works. And if you look right here, this isn't an illustration, or this isn't a photograph, it's an illustration. So you can see we have illustrations with labels. So up here we have a satellite. Here's a buoy with a chain and a cord with an anchor so it won't move in the water. This right here is a pressure recorder. And then right here you can see these little like kind of U's or backward C's. Those are sound waves, and they travel through the water. So we'll find out how this buoy system works. And then that will be the end of our text. So let's read through it. And remember, it's an online article. If it was on the internet, we could actually click buttons and get more information. So let's begin. Tsunami. A tsunami, oh, it tells me how to pronounce it right here. Tsunami is a series or group of huge waves. A disturbance, an important event, under the sea, such as an earthquake or volcanic eruption, causes the waves. How a tsunami forms. During an event under the water, such as an earthquake, a lot of energy is produced. That strong force pushes upward and out. It makes waves move in all directions. When waves reach shallow water, they grow higher. They can reach as high as 100 feet. These powerful waves then crash onto the shore. They can cause heavy damage. Then right here, a tsunami forms underwater, and what we just read actually matches the photograph. So the photograph just helps us, maybe we visualized it in our minds, but now we actually have a picture to show us. Areas at risk. Hawaii, I still skipped those words for you. I'm so sorry. Let me go back. When waves reach shallow water, places closer to land where it's not as deep, the waves crash onto the shore and cause heavy damage, hurt many things and people, or people and things. Okay, let's try this page. Hawaii is at the greatest risk for a tsunami. The state gets about one each year. It gets a damaging tsunami every 7 years. Alaska is also at high risk. California, Oregon, and Washington experience or have a damaging tsunami about once every 18 years. In 1946, a tsunami crashed into Hilo, Hawaii. The waves were as high as a 3-story building. In 1964, an earthquake shook the state of Alaska. It caused a tsunami along parts of the Washington, Oregon, and California shore. The waves were 10 to 20 feet high. So this talks about places in danger of tsunamis. So now you can see why this map is put on this page, because it's tied to this section, right? Areas at risk or places in danger. Here's a map to show where those areas are. You can see they're right along the coast, right, of the ocean. And so they would be at high risk. If this was really an internet article, we could click on this. See how it's blue and underlined? That means it's a link that you could click on to learn more about tsunami warning centers. Tracking a tsunami. Tsunami warning centers. In the United States, there are 2 tsunami warning centers. They monitor or watch for events that could cause a tsunami. The centers are located in Hawaii and Alaska. In the warning centers, people track or look for changes in information about wave sizes and water pressure, changes in the water. The information comes from devices or machines in the ocean. People use the information to predict if a tsunami is likely to happen. Over here, early warnings. Scientists place recorders, machines that measure changes in the water. Oh, here's a recorder. On the ocean floor. They are placed in areas that have a history of disturbances that cause tsunamis. The recorders collect information and send it to buoys, or objects that float on top of the ocean. The buoys then send all the information back to the warning centers by satellite or in messages. Tsunamis can be deadly, so being able to warn people about a tsunami before it reaches shore can save a lot of lives. And that is the end of our reading.